Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here. Believe it again. And what am I here about? Basic human rights for all people. My concern is that we as human beings, you as a physical structure, just like me, might be a female, might be a different shade, but you require food, you require air, you require all of the same things for continued existence as I do, put together by the same power that put each of us here. And for the same reasons, we have these same desires, provided the resources that we, you and I, all of us, would be able to access them and to utilize them to the benefit of humankind and the purpose for which we are created. Well, these kinds of things sometimes are dreams or hopes or aspirations, but truthfully, it is now known that all over the earth, I have mentioned it to you, that where governments exist, they exist in challenging truth. Each of these governments are saying they know how to do it just a little bit better than the maker of the earth. They know how to adjust and run social human society better than the maker of life everywhere governments exist. And the one thing that keeps them, my friend, in power is the deception, the greatest lie that they could ever tell, that deceived man to make man trust men as opposed to trusting God. And that is what they will do to men. They will kill men. And men have no understanding about that part of life. And so they stray away from it as long as they possibly can. Even though every human being on the face of the earth believes, without a doubt, that in time, each of them will die. And so the distance between the beginning of their lives and that life, they want to have the best life they can possibly have. And since they don't know the truth, they're willing to do whatever is necessary. That's deception. That's lying. You tell them you got a person believing you. He trusts you, but you're lying. You take advantage of it. You exploit it. That's the way of destruction. That's the way of an absence of God. And that's the way the world operates. In America, you got a political party. It seems that they are bowing down to the fear that one man might harm them if they don't lick his boots. One man might harm their kids if they don't follow him. And where he's leading them is a place they say they don't want to go. But they do it this time. Well, they have black people who are murdered every day just for being black. They are not forcing you to hate. Black people are not forcing you to take away others' rights. Black people aren't doing that, and yet they are murdered every day. And here comes somebody that you are so afraid of, that you are allowing the Russians, you're allowing your enemies that you have been taught were your enemies to run your country. And you are using the same propaganda that they use to make this country look bad. Well, you don't really have to make this country look bad. This country already looks bad on its own. It's not exempt from what the rest of the world have to go through. This nation is not only just afraid of a man that promises to punish everybody, to take a licking stick and beat your head as soon as you put him back in power. Now, he can't get back in power unless you put him back into power. And yet he threatens you that he's going to beat your head when you put him back into power. And you can't wait to put him back into power. because he got you so deceived that you think he's going to be whipping the other folks' head and not your head. This is because the American people are so far away from truth. They are so distant from God. Oh, they do a lot of talking. But the evidence of the turmoil, the strife that goes on in America says it is so far away from God. And then you have the people who wants to start a war to believe that this will make things right for them because they think they have the advantage with the guns. They have oppressed the people to the extent that they basically have nothing. They have to struggle. They have to hope sometimes that a riot or something break loose so they can go and get a little bit of justice. They actually think that these people who have suffered their entire lives will continue to allow white supremacy to bog them down in the 21st century. Oh yes, it still exists today. But black people are not going to allow what the guys, the Trumpers, those who are trying to change this government back to the days when nobody dared say if you were black, even look at white folks in the eyes. You held your head down. Ain't that something? But black people have learned that the God of the universe is invisible. And that invisible God is waiting to live inside of each of us. And with that invisible God, we cannot die if we stand for truth. We cannot die if we stand for truth. You don't believe that? I know. You're not supposed to believe it. You're supposed to know it and walk and show it. So, if there's to be a race war in America, it's just an indication that we, here again, is that far away from God. And when I say we're that far away from God, when I speak, I'm really speaking about all people on the face of the earth. I don't care what form or fashion you try to put your God in, it's the same outcome. Because with God, there's unity. With God, there's love. Of course, there are those out there that want to hate. But the lovers won't hate. They will love. And you who are lovers will reap the benefits of loving. And those of you who are haters will reap the benefit of hating. And I know you think that because you threaten others and they've been there back, that's the only power you got. Because one day they're going to stand up. And when they do, your game is over. So I want to know if you believe that God is real. Prove it. Prove it. Dare. Before I started this, I made some notes and I want to share with you what I wrote. The only way that blacks and whites may avoid a race war is that justice and fairness and righteousness awakes and prevails. Whites will always fear and distrust blacks because of the way they treated blacks in history. But before blacks will submit to continued white supremacy is the day in which hell freezes over. Blacks are removing the chains of contemporary slavery at this moment, and it does white America well to embrace the God of forgiveness and love as do blacks, that can only be experienced through justice and fairness, which produces its own natural order. A new system is required. A system where the aim is every citizen every person is satisfied, or the nation and its people forfeits its right to exist. A judgment sent down from God for those that totally reject God. The problems we have is because of a disconnect with God. How does it make you feel to know that the whole human race supports you? That the whole human race stands to give representation, that it will not put up with you suffering anything. You don't have food, the human race say hell no. You don't have housing as you desire, the whole human race says hell no. You don't have access to education and health care just like you desire it, the whole human race says hell no. How does that make you feel to know that the whole human race supports you? Supports you. You can't lose. The whole human race supports you. This, my friends, is what life is all about. This is what we, the people, are supposed to be about. This is what we are to learn to be about. The whole human race is supporting you. And understand right now there are what? Close to billions of you. Billions of us. Looking out for one another. Making sure that those things that we have determined that are essential for our survival in life exist in such abundance because we ourselves put our hands to make sure that we engage in the process. We love all of our lives into living. Well, I mean, it seems as if that should be worth you thinking about your kids rather than putting fear that they are going to be hurt or harmed. And so now you accept lies, you accept the stuff that create that which destroys the rot. Somebody called shithole nation. That's how a shithole nation is created. The way America is going right now is the process of creating a shithole nation. But you can change it. You can change it anytime you wake up. You can't change it in the mindset you got right now because you are led by demonic forces. You are led by demonic forces. You act like you don't even know what love is all about. You don't understand what caring about one another, what the family is about. You act like you've lost that. But you still got the power to regain it. I'm going to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. And I just want you to think about what has been said here today. It might mean something. Good morning.